Hello everyone, welcome to this video or video lesson. My name is Sharad and yes, you heard it right, you saw it right. Bending is overrated, and that's what I used to think before. And luckily I find out that I found out that I was wrong. So I admit bending is not overrated. Actually, it is a crucial part of guitar playing that many of us tend to neglect. But it's a good thing that we realize pretty soon. Some pretty soon, some maybe a little bit later, but at least we realize. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about bending and how important it is and why it is. So I realized the importance of bending when I started to record myself, right? Just while I was playing, playing live, you really don't realize when you bend and, it sounds good, most of the time. And you think like, oh, why I have to spend time? It's just, right? It's nothing but just bend it as hard as you can, right? But like I said, when I started to record myself, then I started to realize, damn, it's off. That's not the right note, or I didn't hit the right note. And then I started to be more concerned about the bending. So one good idea or one suggestion that I would like to give is to transcribe solos. Any solo that you like, and try to play note by note, especially all those rock songs. They're full of bends. Any solo, you pick any solo, there will be more than one bends, right? I just recently did 10 classic song and guitar solo videos. So I played 10 guitar solos that I liked, and all those 10 solos full of bends. They even have the big bends, like two steps, two whole steps, So you don't realize it when you just play it. Even playing live, you don't realize because it's just a short moment. It's just passed by, right? But when you record it, then that's when you realize. So I highly recommend to play any solo that you like, any your favorite solo you like. And try to play note by note, And bending is not only in rock music, It all started from blues, right? From blues came rock, and rest is history. Not only in blues, even in jazz, let's say, especially in those gypsy jazz music. You look at those gypsy jazz guitar players. They've got this sweet bends, when they play melody, they bend the note and it sounds so sweet, but you gotta learn how to do that. So regardless of any style of music you play, as a guitar player, bending is a very, very crucial tool for us. So let me show you a few ideas how to practice that, because if you don't practice the bending, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So one easy tool to practice the bend is, let's say, so there's two notes, C, right? So from C, try to hear that. Does it reach to that place? So this is the destination, right? You can bend it and take it there. This will be the beginning phase, but you don't want to do this always, like dragging the notes always. Sometimes it sounds good, yes, but if you are trying to be exact, then you have to know where the note is. Right? There is no. So you have to find that sweet spot, the right place to get that note. Or now let's say from D to E. So when you practice the bending, you are also developing your ears, because you are bound to listen where the note is. So this is another good way to develop your ears, right? So now from E to F, it's a half step. Too much? Maybe not enough? There's. See the difference when you bend half note and full note. And if you don't hit while you are playing recording or playing solo or anything, if you don't hit that right note at the right time, it just doesn't sound good. It sounds off, right? So you got to be really careful. Before, I would just like, just everything sounds good when you're just playing live and it doesn't matter, right? But like I said, record yourself, play any solo, any solo, right? Simple. It doesn't have to be technically difficult or whatever. Just simple solo where there is a bend, and try to get that exactly, and record yourself. Then you will hear, if you're doing it right or wrong. Okay. So let's take we can take a whole major scale, like for example, right? So C major scale, you can play that by bending. So from C to D. And like I said, first at the beginning, if you're not sure where the note is, you can bend it and listen, okay, if it is the right note or not. But eventually you want to go to the note like directly. You should know where the note is. Of course you can bend it, but you got to know where the note is, where to stop, right? If you don't know that, otherwise you will go up and it will be sharp, right? So from D to E now, and from E to F. Now I'm changing the string. Of course, you have to try. You have to practice on different strings as well, because the pressure you have to, the force you have to put in each string is different. Right? In third string, it feels different. In second string, it feels different. First, of course, feels different. So from E to F. So now, once you're familiar with the sound and you know more or less where the place is, then you stop dragging the note, but just go directly. So from G to A, see? From now A to B, I would change the string. First string is always difficult to bend, right? Especially in this fifth position. It's not the perfect ideal place to bend. Or you can try from here, A to B. It's much more easier from here. And now from B to C, maybe we can try the first string. Come back the same way. Once again. Now I go third string. Not exactly. See, bending also works as an ornament for the melody, especially when you're playing melody. Instead of playing da, da, right? You can go. So you're going from C to D and coming back, instead of just coming back from D to C. You can do. So it's like a ornament, you know. You put and decorate the melody. Another important aspect while you are bending, or one other important thing that you should remember while bending, is to mute the other strings. Like, for example, when you bend, there might be other strings might be ringing. So what I usually do is, of course, I bend from I mute from my right hand. I mute other strings, and at the same time I use my index finger, like I put like a bar here, but of course I don't press it. I just touch the other string so that I can mute them, right? Because while you are playing and you are bending, see, there might be other string ringing as well. Now sometimes that sounds good in some cases, but you want to do it intentionally, right? So try to avoid those. I mean, of course, if you want that effect, of course, go for it. But you should be able to mute the other strings. So yeah, muting is also another skill that you should practice while bending. Like I said, I mute from here, and I also mute from here. That's why it's a little bit harder for me to bend, because I use only these two fingers. I saw like people using whole four fingers, like bending from pinky. I don't do that. I don't know. I was not used to bending from pinky. But there are people who bend from pinky, and that's all right. It's completely up to you how you want to bend. But I just don't do that. I bend usually from these two fingers. If I this and this, of course, index fingers every now and then. But usually when I bend those big bends, it's these two fingers are the ones that are working, and this is bending. And pinky, I don't use that for a bend. But like I said, people bend like this, which makes sense actually, because you get more support, right? So you have four fingers working on bendings. But like I said, you have to find out your way to bend, what suits you and how you feel comfortable, right? So yeah, that was the quick lesson on bending. It's very important. I still see students, you know, when I talk about bendings, they go like, bending, what's there to talk about? But soon you will realize how important the bending is, especially as a guitar player. So that's it. Hopefully this video was useful, and hopefully you got some ideas about bending, and I hope and wish that you use that ideas and be aware about bending when you bend next time. Thank you.